What's going on, North Florida wrestling fans? We are here with the Gator Cup Championships recap, and who better to talk about it than the director himself, Joe McMillian. But first, big congratulations to the Gator Cup Championship winners and everybody that went out there and battled hard over these 6 events. And if that finale is any indication, the future of North Florida wrestling is looking really strong. But let's go ahead and get to it. Joe, awesome tournament, man. Take it away.
Jordan, thanks for the introduction. Yeah, the Gator Cup just finished up this past weekend, and it's been here a couple months that we've been running this, and this is the second year we've done it. So we changed the scoring up a little bit. I should probably talk about that and kind of what the Gator Cup is. I had a lot of questions about the scoring coming down the stretch, but basically what we do is we have 6 tournaments. We take your 4 highest scores from the 6 tournaments. So if you miss 1 or miss 2, you're not discouraged from coming back. And then, so we basically score it the same way a high school tournament would be scored. You get like 16 points for being, kind of a champion. That's like your placement points. And then it's scored, not like a dual meet, but it's scored like kind of like a tournament, like where you get bonus points for pins. You get, 1 point for a decision. You get 1.5 or 1 for a major, 1.5 for a tech, and then 2 for a pin. So it encourages people to pin, and it also rewards people that have higher or bigger brackets. We were seeing that a little bit where the guys at the lightest and the heaviest ends of the spectrum, they weren't getting as many matches. But so we're playing around a little bit with the idea of it, but people tend to like it. People keep coming back. There were definitely there was a lot of competition for it. I could tell there were a lot of people coming back, like specifically for the Gatorhead trophy, which was nice to see. So we have a nice little idea here. It's really picked up steam. We had people from all over. We had Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and then at this past tournament, we had Kentucky. We had people from as far away as Miami, South Florida, coming up here. So we had Miami and Louisville in the same tournament, which is just crazy to think about. But that's also what's nice about being in Panama City 4th of July weekend. So some of those people turned it into a vacation too. So not a bad concept there, but definitely saw a lot of good wrestling. The Kentucky kid that came down was solid. He made the finals there, and he wrestled Bear Wesolowski, who's one of our Gatorhead winners, like one of the best wrestlers kind of here in the area, especially in his age group. And so it was really nice to see that kind of matchup. The guy came down, and he got a lot of good matches, and he got one there at the end that just ran into a buzzsaw. So, but that's what happens whenever you travel for competition. You never know what you're going to get. Yeah, and there was really good competition. There was, I'll just start off with shouting out a few names, a few programs. We had here in the youth divisions. And when I say youth divisions, I'm talking about 14 and under, basically elementary and middle school. You had team Grappling House Wrestling Club really tended to dominate the lower divisions. If you have a kid who wrestles under the age of 14, you're probably aware of the names Wesolowski and Cheney. There's 4 each, and they're about every other year. It seems like they have a sibling. So they really killed it. Abel Wesolowski, Carey, and Bear all took home Gatorheads, and you had Jemima Cheney, Bill Cheney, and Susanna Cheney right there on their heels in all of these age groups. You also had 2 other kids I want to shout out from Grappling House. Joseph Stepien, who's a heavier kid for his age group. He's 10 and under, and he weighs about 90 pounds. So it's tough sometimes for him to get competition, but he had pinned, I believe he was 17-0 with 17 pins here at the Gator Cup. He took home one of our Gatorhead trophies, and he did a really good job this summer. Also, along with Carson Garcia from Grappling House, he finished second to Bear Wesolowski, but he's been wrestling for, I think, about 6 months, and he's really picked it up right away, and he's done really good. Yeah, he's a really fiery kid. That Derek Williams and Jasper crew match was awesome. That was Jasper's really progressed well as a wrestler. He's really technically sound, and he put Derek in some really compromising positions, and Derek showed off his athleticism, man, getting out of some of those. I remember that last single situation in their second match. We had 2 Team McCullough's pretty strong there in the younger age groups. We had Wyatt Rock there in the Tots division. That he's one of those kids you pick it up whenever you do this, whenever you do what I do, and you run these tournaments that you see all these kids at weigh-ins, and he's like one of the kids I always remember that you could tell he loved wrestling. He was so excited every morning. And then you have 2. So we had some of our Georgia people too. Jackson Reynolds from Tifton. He was at all of our tournaments. He was pinning his way through most of them. He's really good up there, and they travel a little bit to go to all these tournaments, and really nice family. And then whenever we get into schoolboy too, so the wrestler who had the most points in the entire tournament series was Matthew Thaxton. As far as the Gator Cup score, he had 96.5 points. Basically, he got that because he was, not only is he a phenomenal wrestler, pins a lot of people, but he's also in an age group that's very popular. That 110 at middle school, he was always in a pool of, it seemed like, 7 or more people. And he really, there was a lot of good competition there. You have guys like, that's where Coffee County, that's where they start to get really strong at their middle school and high school teams. Really good. You got Cole Burkett there at that age group, and then Matthew's teammate Colt Sanders, who is going into 8th grade. So he's actually on the younger end of the schoolboy age grouping, and he's a middleweight. He's 140. He was very impressive. So looking forward, Matthew, I believe, will be in high school next year. We'll have to wait another year on Colt Sanders, but very bright future ahead of him. And then, yeah, the cadet weight class, or the cadet age group by far was the most competitive age group. I believe it would always seem like the tournaments would run really smooth there in the elementary divisions. Then we got to the high school, and these guys were not pinning each other. There was a lot of them signed up. It seemed like half the kids who signed up were in these high school age groups. And you had Nate Jacobs from Wakulla win the Gatorhead there. He had 88 points. You had 2 guys right there behind him with 87 points, both Gunnar Merritt from Coffee and Vincent Crump from Goon Squad, which is Lincoln High School. Very impressed with those guys. They all had 4 gold medals throughout the tournament series, so it all came down to basically pins and bonus points. And to make it even worse for Crump too, he had 2 techs in the tournament. So if you turn those techs into pins, he actually ties Jacobs for the lead. But Merritt also as well, he had pinned his way through the tournament, and that's kind of the Gatorhead. I wasn't really thinking about that, where it's, you have multiple guys there that are all dominant in their age groups or in their weight classes, and then how do you separate those? But really, really good performances from all 3 of those guys. James Oliver as well is a guy from Arnold High School, Junior Marlins, and he's really solid wrestler there in the younger age groups, and he came to a lot of our tournaments and did really well. I was impressed with him. And then getting up into the elite age group, we have 2 guys here that are actually seniors in high school now, so they won't be competing in high school next year, but they keep coming back to the tournaments, and I love it because it's better competition for our guys. You have JT Thaxton, who won that age group, and then you have Carlos Sanchez behind that. That's the heavyweight from South Walton High School. He's wrestling for Coastline. He came to a lot of tournaments, did really well. So it's nice to see those guys coming back and still competing, just to give us all kind of more competition. You get more guys signed up, so it's really good to see that. You had Hunter Brown there as well from Liberty County, performed really well. He was 3rd place in his age group. And then getting on to the girls, you had Sarah Branch from Coastline Wrestling Academy take home the schoolgirl 14U. She has a brother that wrestles as well. The family had traveled to a lot of our tournaments. She did really well. And then in cadet and elite girls, you have Cameron Easter, which is a familiar last name if you follow girls wrestling in North Florida. She was from Weewa. She cleaned up, won 2 or 3 tournaments in each age group in elite and cadet. So overall, a really good turnout. I was really impressed, I think, with a lot of the wrestling. It was really nice to see places like Coffee County travel to come see us. We had also, I want to shout out Beachside High School, came as well. It brought some really good wrestlers to a few of our tournaments. Really impressed with some of their guys. J.R. Craig is a name to watch out for, I think, in the heavier weights in high school next year. The guy looked really good. He's a phenomenal athlete, but you can tell he's progressing really well with the wrestling as well. So overall, I mean, really good to see all those states represented. I want to go back now and look and see if any of those kids are from Louisiana over there. So it feels like they're right in our neck of the woods, but I can't think of anybody off the top of my head from over that way. Maybe we'll have to reach out to them next year. So overall, a really good tournament series this year. Really looking forward to what the future holds, and maybe tweak a few rules and a few things here and there just to kind of round us out and give us a good. There's some ideas that we've been juggling around to improve the scoring system and how we hand out trophies and awards and things like that. So if anyone has any suggestions, definitely reach out to us. We have a Facebook page, Gator Cup Championships. hopefully we can get Jordan to add that in our description. That will conclude our second annual Gator Cup Championship. Thank you all for coming out and showing us support this year. If you want to give us a follow on Facebook, we'll make sure to include that link in the description. Thank you all for all the tournament hosts as well who are able to put on great tournaments. There's a lot of sharp organizations around here, and they run a tight ship.
All right, and that's going to put a bow on it for this episode and the 2023 Gator Cup Championships. Once again, congratulations to all champions and all wrestlers that went out there and battled hard. And big thanks to Joe McMillian for putting on this series for the second year in a row. Make sure you go to the Facebook page, the Gator Cup Championships. Give them some likes, give them some comments, and make sure you get ready for the Gator Cup Championships 2024. Till then, as always, I'm Jordan Patrick James. Stay safe, wrestle hard.